Michael, you seemed a bit nervous on the stand today. Were you nervous? Is Trump lying? Did he sleep with Stormy Daniels? What comments do you have for Trump?
Well, Cohen didn't have a lot to say there, but he seemed pretty well rehearsed during some parts of his testimony. Someone who heard it all, Eric Trump, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization. Haven't seen him a while on set. How are you, Eric? Good to see you. So tell us, take us inside the courtroom. You've been there many days, but this one was the first day of his testimony. I
have. Honestly, I've been there many days because I love my father. He's an incredible guy, and what they're doing to him is just unthinkable, right? And I say this all the time. No one believes that for $130,000 8 years ago, the entire top brass of the New York DA's office is sitting in court, and they're sitting there and they're giggling and they're laughing, and this is their all-star moment. This is their Super Bowl moment, and they're excited and they're laughing, and they finally have the opportunity to get my father. You know, you have the number 3 from the DOJ in Washington, D.C., who left the DOJ to come into New York with one sole intent, and that's to prosecute my father. But then I look at Cohen, and he's so giddy. He's so happy to say that he was a personal attorney for Donald J. Trump.
Including today.
The personal attorney, and how honored he was and how great it was. And he worked in that role. He worked in that role even after he left the organization. But despite that, for some reason, when he bills a company for a legal expense and they book it as a legal expense, that's a felony. That's a felony according to New York prosecutors. Laura, you can't make up this sham. They will stop at nothing to take the man down. It doesn't matter that people are getting shot in the face every single day. Crime has doubled in this city. Murders have doubled in this city from last year to this year. And yet they're going back to a $130,000 payment that a man made in his individual capacity that he booked on his personal ledger as a legal expense because it was paid to his longtime attorney. And he gets 34 felonies. Remember, Al Capone got 1 felony. My father gets 34.
Why stop at 34? Cohen says that he called your dad to make sure that he approved of what he was doing and that he would be reimbursed for everything. He required Mr. Trump sign off basically on everything. That's what he repeated throughout the day.
Yeah, isn't that really interesting? Because it kept on getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And Michael Cohen kept on making excuses that he couldn't get the payment. And then he finally comes out in one of the emails and says that, well, I can't get in touch with him.
But did he sign off on everything, your dad?
You know what? I can't get in touch with the president. You know why? Because he's in Iowa and he's campaigning in every swing state and he couldn't get him. You know, it's really amazing how he comes out. And I mean, the email chains clearly show this. But, Laura, that's not what this is about. They want to take my father down in New York. They want to do it civilly. They want to do it criminally. They want to do it in Georgia. They want to try and do it in Washington, D.C. They go to the farthest left areas of this country. They have radical prosecutors, all with one thing in common. They're all funded by Soros, every single one, and they have a damn mission to go after Donald Trump because he's winning in every poll. And when you see Wildwood on Saturday, where he has 100,000 people show up, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen can't pull half of that amount,
Don't steal our thunder. We're getting into
trying not to, but I'm excited about this. And then you see him in the New York Times polls today, where he's winning in every single swing state.
But here's what, as a lawyer, I see. I see a very dangerous precedent being set where a prosecution starts a case with kind of a theory that clearly soon doesn't begin to pay off. The judge kind of helps him by saying he uses the word conspiracy a lot. And then he comes on today and he basically says, well, look, Donald Trump was in control of this company. He signed off on everything. But does that concern you that he said your dad signs off on everything?
It's just, first of all, it's not true. My father was campaigning for 2 years at that point. And at the point that the point that the payment was actually made, he was sitting in Washington, D.C.
But those aren't, I mean, I'd say those aren't crimes anyway, even if he did say, okay.
Of course they're not. NDAs are completely legal.
I mean, that's the point. I would say
NDAs are done every single day by every single organization. By the way, every organization, including this one, would go down in flames if an NDA was illegal, because every single organization, every single person has NDAs in that world.
What kind of a guy was he? When I met him a couple of times. And I don't want to be uncharitable toward anybody, I really don't, but he didn't seem impressive to me. And your father is an unbelievable, judge of so many people and situations. How did he ever get hired? I call him Jughead, and that's kind of juvenile, I guess, but he seems like a jughead to me. What? So how did he ever get, if staff is so important, this guy was the go-to guy. Why?
Well, it's the very reason my father didn't want to take him to Washington, D.C. And by the way, he sat there for an hour today talking about how mad he was, right?
Thank
he
God.
literally was sending text messages to people. I'm going to be chief of staff. I want to be chief of staff. He's lobbying for this. And
How
he was
much of
lobbying
this is resentment?
for attorney general. And then all of a sudden, my father doesn't want to take him to Washington, D.C. It's a lot of resentment. By the way, this guy's a convicted felon. He lost his law license. He went down the tubes because he was defrauding apparently financial institutions based on taxi cab medallions in his own personal life. But yet that this is their star witness. Their star witness is a convicted felon, a guy who lost his law license, and a porn star. That's literally who Alvin Bragg wants to stack against the 45th and 47th, because he will be the 47th president of the United States.
He testified that in December of 2016, he discovered that his bonus had been cut by 2/3, Eric, and he became enraged. That's a big cut. I was truly insulted, personally hurt by it after all that I'd gone through in terms of campaign and laying out $130,000 on his behalf to protect him. It was insulting. The gratitude that was shown back to me, cutting bonus by 2/3.
Well, maybe my father's intuition was exactly right. Today sitting here, I should have said it would have been cut by 100% as opposed to 2/3.
I'd say don't cut it at all. Maybe it would have been testified. I'd go the other way, but no.
It's really remarkable.
But as a person before all this started to unravel, what kind of a guy is he?
Michael? Listen, Michael was fine for a little while, and then he totally fell apart. I mean, the guy who proclaimed himself to be the fixer actually broke more things than he actually fixed, and I think that became very apparent very quickly, which is why my father didn't want to bring him down to D.C., which is why he has the resentment that he does. And then all of a sudden, everybody realized he was playing games in his personal life. He got convicted over and over and over and over again. He is committing bank fraud and all sorts of other things. And I think everybody saw Michael Cohen's true colors. And it's really interesting when you see him now pitching a reality TV show. I can fix your problems.
He wants to.
Oh, really? The same guy who lost his law license is going to fix your problems.
But he's trying to be like your dad. Don't you see that? I mean, this is like an Oedipal complex.
It's not working.
Almost.
And by the way, he actually testified today that his whole intent of being personal attorney to the United States was to try and monetize it for self-serving purposes.
The prosecution has to finish up tomorrow. I'll be in court. Are you going to be back?
I will be there.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to the cross-examination. This is going to be a lot of fun. Eric, thanks so much for coming into the studio.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.